Welcome to the Roscommon County Board of Commissioners work session, August 11th, 2021, 9 o'clock a.m. Hybrid meeting accessible in person or via Zoom. Item number 1, Roscommon County Sheriff's Department Youth Academy presentation. Okay. Officer Rebsky, are you running the show here?
Sure.
Okay.
Apparently Deputy Peller threw me right under the bus and had someplace else to be.
Yeah, we should get another chair. Hang on, we'll get you another chair. Then you can make it comfortable, all right? Okay.
So I don't need a microphone. I don't have much of an inside voice, so I can stand over here. So these are cadets from our Youth Police Academy. Deputy Judy, how many years have we been doing a Youth Academy?
I think
It's been in all of them.
It's been one
So
more.
for several years, after school's out, we host a youth police academy. So we bring in students from the age of 10 to 16. The last few years, it's been at the craft center. And basically what we do is we bring in entities that give them a view of what it is to do public service. National Guard, our dive team, we've done our ER team, animal control this year. So any phase of public service that we can give them a chance to see what it is that those different divisions do. A lot of them come in with either wanting to see what it is that that we do and those other entities do, and have a thought process of possibly joining law enforcement, EMS, and possibly the military. So we go through. It's been a 2-week program this year. We kind of condensed it down because of COVID to 1 week. This year we also took them over to Central Dispatch, so they get to see every phase of public service, and it gives them an idea as they go what we do, and then if it's something that they're interested in the future. Yeah, cadets Wintersheimer, Benerick, and Judy, they were all in our program this year. This cadet Wintersheimer's four. So she's a veteran. And what we did this year, usually, this is my second year in being involved. The first year we gave them each a word. So say integrity, and then one of the cadets would stand up in the morning and give us a definition and then what that meant to them. What we did this year differently was we had them stand up in front of class and explain to everybody why they wanted to come to the Youth Academy, what they wanted to get out of it. So we're going to have the cadets this morning tell everybody why they wanted to go to the academy this year, and then what they expected to get out of it, and then what they kind of got out of it as they went. If you have questions, I'm sure they'll be happy to answer a couple of questions. So, you want to volunteer, or do we want me to tell you who's going first?
I'll go first. All right. Hi, my name is Faith Judy, and I'm 13 years old. This is my first year of being in the Youth Police Academy. At first, I was planning to go just 1 year and find out what my dad does because he works at the police department. Anyways, after going through the Youth Police Academy, I know for a fact that I will come back all the years I'm able. For weeks after the academy ended, I was still telling my family stories. This academy impacted me more than I can fit in words. A few of my favorite things we did would probably be Lake Day, visiting the fire station, investigation, DNR, and my favorite was military. There are a lot more, but these were my favorite. Some things I wish were different were the dispatch was very short, and I wish it would have been longer. Also, I wouldn't want to do CPR training years in a row, so my suggestion would be to do it every other year. Another thing that disappointed me was the animal shelter. I was expecting for it to be my favorite thing, and I personally didn't enjoy it that much. I also didn't learn a ton from it, but all the people were super nice. I am looking forward to going to Camp Grayling next year, if we do. Another positive thing I have to say about this program is that before the academy, I had no thoughts about possibly being in law enforcement, but now I really want to do something in relation. Honestly, my mom's worried about me joining law enforcement, but she hasn't gone through the Youth Police Academy. To conclude, this program has inspired me in so many ways. Any questions?
You covered a lot of ground, and I thought I recognized your last name when they said it, so. Anybody have any questions for Faith? This is your first year, huh? Well, good. Congratulations. And you're gonna keep going, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Who's next?
I'm Kylie Wintershiner. I'm
15.
I'm Kylie Wintershiner.
Kylie, okay, thank you.
This is my 4th year of the police academy. 2 years ago, we did a thing in court, and I think that was my favorite so far. But I was a little scared to talk, but it's okay. And then I like doing the lake day because we get to learn all the marine stuff. Okay.
Kylie, why do you keep coming back?
Because it's just fun, and I think it's something for me to do in the summer. To get out of the house and be active. I don't know.
Okay, apparently you're ready for questions, right?
Yeah.
So this is your 4th year. So I'm gonna guess that maybe you're a sophomore or junior in high school?
I'll be a junior when.
Be a junior, okay, so are you going to, like, I know, what is it, CORE's got the public safety course?
The Action for Sheriff Flo does a public safety course through Kirtland. As what grade do you start, Ben?
Juniors.
Okay, so is
I'll
that,
be doing a like criminology.
oh, okay, all right. Okay, anybody else got anything? Okay,
My name is Deegan Benarik, and
Sorry, I couldn't hear your name.
Deegan Benarik.
Egan?
Speak up, Deegan.
Turn the microphone over. There you go, you're good.
So my name is Deegan Benarik, and why I joined the police academy is because I wanted to get out of the house first because I was stuck in it. And I just wanted something fun to do over the summer. And my favorite part was the DNR part, and
This is your first year?
yeah, this is my
Okay.
first year.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got anything? Faith, anything to add?
Egan came in, so just to give you kind of an idea of where we're at, he has an interest in being a conservation officer, right?
Mhm.
And he knew that we were gonna have the conservation guys come, they do an entire day. They go over the legal aspect of it, and then they do scenarios where they take all the cadets and they break them into groups, and they set up different scenarios out there where somebody's violating some type of law, and then they work with the partner to identify what's going on and interact with the DNR. So when he did that, it kind of enhanced the fact that you want to be a conservation officer, right?
All right.
So they all get an aspect of, we had a couple of the cadets that were interested in the military. So the National Guard comes in and does a huge presentation, and it just enhances those guys. They get a chance to see, the cadets get a chance to see a military aspect and all that. So he got a big thing from the conservation people when they came in.
Great. So this was a 1-week program? And is it ongoing after this? Any weeks after? I mean, do they meet periodically after this during the year?
No, so this year was 4 days, 3 days, I'm sorry. Again, we condensed it because of COVID. And generally it's 5. So, but after the academy's done, everybody just kind of goes their own way until the next year if they decide to come back.
Okay. All right, good. You guys got anything? Ken?
Two of you said you liked the lake day. What lake did you go to?
Egan's Lake.
We have a lady, she donates her house. She's got a house right on Higgins Lake, and her son was actually law enforcement. He was killed on duty. So she has a huge heart for law enforcement. So she gives us her house. She donates it every year. The cadets come out. She provides lunch, lets us use the lake. And then we have our Marine Patrol. Generally, Garrish Township comes in and shows us their rescue equipment. And then our dive team comes out and they get to go out on all that. Then they can go out on the jet skis and on the boats. And then we actually do PT right there on the beach that day. So they have an entire day out there on the lake.
Oh, somebody tell me about PT. What do you do?
We do, it changes every day, but yeah, we do, like, we did a lot of it outside this year because of COVID. And at the beach, we did this really fun thing called sugar cookies, where you do workouts on the sand and then you go in the water, and sugar cookies, yep. And yeah, so most of it like wasn't super fun, but one day we did play like dodgeball. That was fun.
You're more than welcome. The
Hey,
more the
any-
merrier.
Any commissioners have anything else to say?
How many's in your group?
12.
We had 12 this
Oh,
year.
12, okay, so you're 3 of 12, okay. All right, good deal. Well, I was wondering how you could play dodgeball with 3. So. Okay, well, yes,
I know you got 5 other things in your work session, but when people
sure. Anybody got a camera? You do. All right, you want to do that right now? We can do that. Take a break.
I have a Pacer radio.
I think you 3 are free to go.
You guys.
Okay, item number 2, Treasurer's Quarterly Report, Rebecca Reagan.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you, Rebecca?
I'm doing fine. How are you all doing? All right, first we'll start with my report. Does anybody have any questions? You'll notice that the interest is very bad, very sad. We're right back to 2008, 2009 interest rates. Not even CDs, because nobody is needing our money, so consequently CDs are low, investments are low. Anything in the stock market is extremely bad, so I'm sorry, nothing I can do about it. So we'll just work on trying to find the best place to keep the money safe at this time, but like I said, interest is really sad. But then we move on to the next item.
Rebecca,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
Everybody bear with Julie, our IT guys are both off today.
Thanks, Mike.
No, that's fine. I'm good. I'm used to this now. Over here,
Yep. Yeah.
I'm fine. Back the other way to get it back.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
See what I do.
Oh, okay, I got mine. I still like a piece of paper next to me.
Also, she can hear us now.
Oh, we're on?
We're good?
Yeah.
Right. The sound.
We can restart for the next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, go ahead, Rebecca.
Okay. On the 6th of this month, we had our tax sale. We had 35 properties, which is the lowest in the 12 years that I've been here. And out of those 35 properties, we sold 34. Yeah, the sale went very well. It was totally online, just like last year because of COVID. So because of the new law, we no longer get all of the overage. If the resident who lost their home due to tax sale, due to delinquent taxes, excuse me, they have the opportunity to fill out a paper. And this paper says that they are asking for the overage. And this paper has to be in my office and has to be notarized by July 1st. And we had some residents do that, which was great. I mean, we sent out, I think, 4 notices. And I personally called a few people that I had their telephone number to make sure they filled out the paperwork. We had 257 bidders, and there were 441 bids out of those 257. And the total amount of the sales totaled $942,843.41. And out of that, we received 5%, which was right around $47,000. And that would be because basically I'm the realtor. I went around and showed these houses and opened them up to people and was on the phone for like 3 weeks straight, talking to people about the homes and, like I said, taking them to show the inside. So then we will also receive the overage for the people who did not fill out the paperwork. There were some people that had passed away. Some people had moved out of the state. Some people just chose not to do it. So that number I won't have until about 2 weeks, and then I'll be able to let you know how much that was. Does anyone have any questions?
So you don't know what portion you have to give back, what the amount is to give back yet?
The judge will determine that. They now
Judge.
have to go before Judge Bennett, and then Judge Bennett will tell them, because there may be people with liens, or I shouldn't say liens, because all liens are extinguished, but there may be somebody that would come forward and say, it was my mother's property and I'm her child and I would like that money, and all that is determined by the judge.
Okay.
How much is determined by the judge.
Okay, so you'll keep us posted, right?
I will. This is all new to me. I do have a court case tomorrow due to the new law, and this will be the first one that I personally am involved in. And I'll tell you, it never ceases to amaze me that I am being sued for following the law. You know, I always thought that someone got sued because they broke the law, or they got in trouble because they broke the law, not because they followed the law. So this is very disheartening for me personally, because I did everything right by the law, to the letter. And now I'm in trouble because of that. So, yeah, it's interesting. So
Okay.
I will let you know how that turns out.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else have anything for Rebecca? I did notice that our Gypsy Moth fund, we paid the Gypsy Moth spray bill. So that fund is down to about 200,000. So, okay. Yep, I do read it. Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item number 3, E91 quarterly report. Vance Stringham, please. Good morning, Vance.
Good morning. All right, I appreciate the chance to come and present this morning. Just going to give you a rundown of what's been going on with dispatch. So from an operations standpoint, we're doing pretty well. We have started the year pretty difficult, of course. We've had some staffing issues, what have you, following up on what I've reported in other reports. We are still maintaining our basic needs for our responders. I've reached out to chiefs, and so far things seem to be going pretty well there. We have a very young team, which is a good thing. And as they gain experience, they will continue to excel. As far as numbers go, we are on par with what I've seen in previous years. As far as law calls, we're about 1,500 less than in 2018, but we're up from last year, and the other categories follow similarly. We are continuing to, I continue to help work the floor on occasion, as well as Kylie, to help fill some of those holes. So we have tried a number of different options for scheduling, and it is working. So technology wise, things are up and running. We're doing pretty good right now. As you were aware previously, we had a large project going to replace our CAD system and join with the other police departments in the county. As reported before, unfortunately, that project got away from the vendor, and we put a stop to that. I appreciate the help of Judy and everybody else that has helped move this along. We had a meeting last week with the vendor where everybody, each department head from the police departments, as well as myself, Kylie, and Mike, attended, and the vendor wanted to hear all of our grievances as far as what is wrong. I am confident we have their attention, at least verbally. I've been told multiple times that they are owning the fact that this got away from them, and it is, in their words, a complete failure. So I know I heard bits and pieces of the other calls, and I do know that the chiefs and from the sheriff's department as well, they didn't hold any punches. They let them know exactly what they felt. So what we're waiting for now is the vendor is going to take that information back and formulate a plan and come back to us to see if it is something we can get this thing moving again. What that solution is, we don't know yet. I was speaking with one of the folks at the meeting this morning, and they made it extremely clear that this feels like we were sold one thing, and it is not what it doesn't appear to be what exactly it claimed it to be. Put a new coat of paint on an old car kind of thing, if that makes sense. So anyway, so as far as our radio communications, I reported on that before. Presently, regarding 800 megahertz, we have Holton Lake Ambulance remains on VHF for paging, as is Markey Township is on VHF, the old style radios for paging, as well as radio communications. So Richfield Township is waiting for delivery of their 800 megahertz pagers. So they will be the last ones on the Blue Tower, which is owned by, I believe, Richfield Township. I believe. Okay. Markey Township is the last ones on the White Tower, and I believe that is owned either by Markey. I'm pretty sure that's owned by Markey. I have heard that there's been a decision for them to move to 800 megahertz, which is a big step forward for Markey Township. So I hope that is officially the truth, we'll see. It's, you know, how those things go. They have to go through the processes for approval. And then with Holton Lake Ambulance on high band paging, they're the last ones on the white tower. Excuse me, the red. The red tower is county owned. It does cost us $35 a month in electricity. The downside would be is if that were to take the right kind of lightning strike and blows that equipment up, it would be several $1,000s to replace it. And I have spoken with Director over there, and he's not sold on the 800 megahertz idea, and that's fine. And I pointed him to some other resources for him to. It's a good idea, but that's the way that goes. So. Dispatch is in the process of working with the Sheriff's Department and jail to, for security purposes, to have the court cameras monitored in dispatch. And when I say monitored in dispatch, we'll have access to those. We won't sit there and watch them 24/7, of course. But if there is an incident, then we have the ability to see what's going on inside the courts. The recorder situation is still where it was. It works great, but we had worked with the vendor to get connected to another department outside of the county to leverage a piece of equipment called their IP logger. Unfortunately, the vendor didn't anticipate some issues with the state of Michigan. And so as far as our things, we are recording everything we have previously. There are some new things that we need to get recorded, and we'll see how that goes, but we're waiting on CCD, so Charlotte, Sheboygan, Emmett Dispatch, who has that piece of equipment. We could purchase it to be over $150,000, and for our needs, I think that is excessive, and we could hook with another county for 10+ years and still come under that cost in my projections. Financials are looking good. We'll bring to the attention that our millage does expire at the end of this year. And so we'll be bringing that to you very soon to get that coordinated for next year's election. So, but otherwise, looking at Jody, I didn't prep her for this one, but from what I can see, we are on track and under budget on most of our items. Jody's giving me the nod. So based on the reports I get from her and what have you, I'm very pleased to see what we're doing. So it was the plan to rebuild some of the fund balance because we do have some expensive projects coming up. The 911 phone system is not dated necessarily, but it's technology. At some point, we're going to have to spend a fair chunk of money to refresh that, as well as some of the other things. So those things are coming up. And the big topic I want to touch on is personnel. Currently, your dispatch center has 7 fully trained bridge telecommunicators. When fully staffed, I have approval for a total of 11. And with the turnover rates, I was prepared to ask for a 12th, but let's just shoot for 10 for now. I attended a meeting of Northern Michigan 911 directors this week, and one of the other directors brought up the question of personnel. And collectively, we are in the exact same boat as every single county in the state as far as our dispatch centers. There were 2 dispatch centers there that currently are not hiring, but the same thing is how do we get people in and how do we find the right people that can do the job? Is it a money issue? Are they not being paid enough? What have you? I don't have an answer for you. With that many brains in the same room, scratching our heads, trying to figure this thing out, I don't have an answer. And when, I want to say 14 of my peers, whom I respect a great deal, same thing. They just don't know, and it's a result of the pandemic, culture, demographic changes as far as age, and et cetera. Point being is that we will continue to work to get our folks fully staffed. The stress level, of course, is quite high, not only from the work, but from all the overtime. Again, I'm making myself available when I can, instead of ordering somebody in an overtime to at least work part of the shift to take some of that relief off. It's a very frustrating thing for me, but at the same time, while it is scary to me that all my peers don't have an answer, at least I feel better because I was really at the point where, what am I doing wrong? So I'm not sure what else to say on that other than we're trying. I feel our pay scale is still fair. However, and money is not always a solution, but there are dispatch centers in this country that are offering, for example, a $10,000 signing bonus. One offers a $15,000 signing bonus. I'm not saying that's what we're going to do, but we need to figure something out to get people to this community, to stay in this community, and have the aptitude to do these technical jobs for public safety, for the Treasurer's Department, because I know dispatch isn't the only one struggling. Aside from that, it sounds like all doom and gloom, but it's not. I still love my job, this career. It's a fabulous place, and what have you. So I'm very pleased to be able to present. And as always, I'm always open for questions, direction, what have you. I should say, do you want to talk about the authority board a little bit? Yeah. Okay. So, and Dave has brought this up as well. Chief Fisher is our current chairman. I hate to say reorganization, that's kind of what it is. Basically, they will take a more active as far as taking charge of the meetings and running things of that nature. They will intend to select a secretary to take the notes and free up Carly from that as well. And I think it's a very good thing. It's been a good board. I like what direction it's headed. A little more structure.
Call it returning to its roots.
Yes.
It was originally a board that functioned as an authority board. And I think through the years, it's just been so easy for the appointed E911 director to be saddled with doing everything. Whereas that is not the intent of a board, obviously. They are the oversight and you know, when there's appointments, when there's policies to be reviewed, their input and their leadership is what that authority board is there for. And so I truly believe that that's where they're striving to get back to.
Yep. So our next meeting is September 12th to 13th. It's Tuesday. I don't remember immediately offhand. So we'll do some reappointments then because our chairman's term comes to an end, and then just going through the process, making everything official. So that is all I have for comments, questions.
As far as you got 7 people, do you have anybody in training right now?
We do not have anybody in training. We have one that is going to start within the next week and a half in training, comes with no experience. I have 2 applications out. We're waiting to get them in, get them tested. And that is where we sit right now. With the team we have, we just don't have the people to train, because you have to have special training, you have to have the availability, what have you. So at most we can take 2 trainees at this time. So we have 1 in the waiting, we have more that we need to contact. And then I have 1 person who had worked for us for a month, had an unexpected family change, had to move back out of state. He has reached out, he wants to come back, but he's got to work some legal things out there for the family first. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. David, you're on that board. Anything?
Yeah, just everything Vance went over. Covered it.
You're not
And we're
on.
in the right direction.
You're not on.
Well, Vance went over, he covered most of it, and we're going in the right direction.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Vance. Rebecca, you got something to add, I take it? New news. Good news.
Yes. The case that is being heard tomorrow is dismissed.
Goodness.
Yes.
Good. All right,
Thought I'd let you know.
thank you.
You're welcome.
That's why you got a big smile on your face.
I'm very happy.
All right. Okay. Item number 4, NTIA broadband grant deadline. Jody Valentino, and I see Catherine's out there, who is our grant writer too, so.
So really, I'll do a quick introduction. Tim from Cherry Capital is back, and we also have a new friend, Mike from M33 Access, who's here as well. I know that they have worked closely together, and so he's obviously interested in where this infrastructure will lead us as well. Catherine's probably the best one. Where we're at is the grant deadline is the 17th of August. Bless Catherine phenomenally for coming on and accepting this challenge of putting this grant together so quickly, and Tim for providing so much information so quickly. Best idea that anybody had, and thank you to Brenda, who's not here for that, to put her into this position. Catherine, would you be able to give a quick update of where you're at with the grant right now?
Yes, we're really getting close to completing the grant application. Tim is still providing me with some information. I'm surely technology challenged, and he's been really wonderful with supplying all the information that we need. I just have like 2 or 3 more items on the narrative to complete. I've completed the application and all of the other documents. They need to be signed by Jody, and we have figured that out. We had hoped to have it completed today, but that didn't happen. These federal grants are really intense, and it takes some time to complete them, but we will have it done probably on Monday, which is a day early to get it submitted. And we are asking 1.2 million match from the county, and that would come from ARP funding. The total that we will be asking is, I think it's 8.6 million. So 6.4 million from NTIA, 1.2 from the county. Do I have any questions?
Okay. Anybody have any questions in regards to that? That 1.2 million has been presented at our steering committee, so we're in the process of identifying needs and as far as that is concerned, okay? But it's all contingent on this grant going in, so. And you'll see that it's on for a motion today to approve that grant so we can get it submitted by the 17th.
Wonderful.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Catherine?
No, I can't think of anything. If anyone has any questions, let me know.
All right. Thank you. Good job so far.
Thanks.
We'll wait till after. We'll see if we're successful, and then we'll really be happy, right?
Yeah, no kidding. There's never
Okay.
any guarantees, but we think we have a good project.
Okay, great. Any other commissioners have anything? Okay. All right. Thank you, Catherine.
Yep.
Item 5, Commission on Aging Contract for Services, discussion of the whole. So everybody should have a copy of the proposed contract. It did get sent over to the COA, and they are here today to, I'm going to invite Kim and Betty to come up, please, if you would, please, so we can have some discussion on this. Kim? So we've sent out a draft for a Roscommon County Commission on Aging Service contract. And it's being presented here today for the first time, and you've gotten a copy of everything, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we're here for a discussion on it. You know, it's something that we have to have by law. We have to have a contract, whoever provides our services. And the only people we went out for is the COA. So here we are. I guess you've got some questions. Now's the time, and then we'll try and answer them, and we'll have some discussion on them, go back and forth. Okay.
I did send an email to Jody last night regarding a couple of things that changed on the contract. One was under number 2, services to be provided. I and Jay are dependent on NEMSCA, and we just provide our facility for their MAP counselor to come in. We will continue to do that as long as they have the funding to provide the MAP counselor. And so that might not necessarily fit into this contract. And then J, support groups, we only have one support group, and that is all. There's no cost to that at all. So that doesn't cost the agency or the county or anybody else anything, and that's for our caregivers. So those were the 2 things I thought about there. And then under number 5 in that email.
Betty, let's back up to number 2, so I'm clear on this, okay, and everybody else. So when I look at your email here, remove the following services, which be kinship care is removed.
Yes, kinship care would also be removed because that funding comes totally from NEMSCA.
Okay, then Medicare medical assistance programs.
That's our MAP counselor that comes in to work with the seniors on that, and NEMSCA provides the funding for that.
Okay, so that needs to come out also.
Mm-hmm.
And then J, support group.
Support groups at this point, we only have the one, and that one is no cost. It's just the use of our facility to be able to provide that area. And at the present time, I am one of the facilitators and then another board member.
Okay, so Meals on Wheels is good. Congregated meals at the centers. Personal care, respite care, adult services, aging, healthy living and wellness activities, and liquid nutrition. So H, I, and J would be eliminated, correct?
Correct.
Okay, anybody have any questions on that? Okay, go ahead and go to 5.
And number 5, that talks about access to documents, papers, and financial records. What I'm requesting that is added is this access specifically excludes client and personnel files and any other information of confidential nature. The agency is bound by HIPAA, so client files should not be accessed because of the HIPAA regulations that we have to follow. That's private information, personal information, medical information that we are required to gather on the clients so that we have that for a background for being able to provide them services. And personnel files are confidential, just as I'm sure they are for your employees here. And so those 2 should be excluded from access to documents, papers, and financial records.
So in other words, you're looking at the sentence, this access specifically excludes client and personnel files and any other information of a confidential nature.
Correct.
That'd be a separate paragraph.
It can be included with that paragraph as I.
So we need to rewrite that so it includes that, or something. Is that what would be acceptable?
That's what I thought.
Okay,
Too.
all right, that's fine. Okay.
And I did, as Jody had suggested, I did email a copy of the previous agreement as well as the new contract to our board members. I got a response back from a board member that has some concerns about some of the different wording in there. And so that will need to be discussed at a board meeting among our board as to any changes and concerns that they have. So.
Would that change this contract or no?
I'm not sure. It'll depend on what the board decides.
Okay.
I'm not sure how it would change it or how it would affect it.
Okay, and you don't know exactly what those changes are at this time.
One of the changes had to do with number 4, the budgets auditings. The last sentence there, the RCCOA understands that the budget is to be provided as described herein, if accepted by the county, shall become the basis for the county's determination of the annual appropriation of voted millage to be spread for the calendar year. Our board reviews our budget annually, as Mark knows, and they vote to approve our budget. And that board member is feeling that this is, again, government stepping in and trying to take a little bit more control away from a private entity, which that's, the RCCOA is. It's a private corporation, nonprofit. So they had some concerns with that, the wording there.
Okay, so, but that's yet to be discussed by that COA board, correct?
Correct.
I just want to add two things. The first thing, I'm going to swing back, and one thing for your board to remember in regards to personnel records is because you are contracting with a government agency, personnel records are actually subject to the Freedom of Information Act request.
Only, the board only employs one, has only one employer. The
Okay.
rest of the employees are not considered.
I would tell you, I would hesitate to think that if I FOIA'd something as an individual citizen and then ended up in a court of law, I would hesitate on that. But that is, I don't mind putting that in our contract. I'm just kind of letting you guys know, if you haven't investigated that before you get a Freedom of Information Act request for something like that, I would certainly have a legal opinion on it.
Okay.
It's very broad when it comes to nonprofits that act as an oversight board utilizing government funding. So just be real careful with that. The second thing that I would say is, as I read through that sentence that you're talking about, I would say the part that is probably the most discerning to your board member and maybe your boards is the caveat of if accepted by the county.
Mm-hmm.
And I, looking at my board, I mean, that's to me, if you were presenting it, and just to understand how the process is. So every year there is a L4029 that comes before the boards of commissioners, just because the public said that a entity or the sheriff's department can have up to 1.5 mils. The board of commissioners' job is to safeguard the spending. So under sheriff, I'm going to pick on you and I apologize. So if they look at the sheriff's department and feel that there have been expenditures in excess that don't require, or they have a larger than fund balance that could be spent down, they have the authority on an annual basis to set that millage rate for the year at 1 mil instead of 1.5 to collect. So that is their job, to review those budgets before they set those mills on that L4029. Okay. So if the board so thinks it's okay, we could certainly strike that if accepted by the county, if that makes that whole process a little, your budget is your budget, and then you present it and the board goes, okay, these are their needs. Yes, we can see where 1 mil comes into play in this.
Okay.
Did that sound?
That would probably help.
Okay.
And going back to the personnel files, I know Judy had sent me the other contracts from the other 3 counties, and that is the sentence that I found in one of the other contracts as well.
Oh yeah, like I said, I absolutely don't see.
And I know several of our employees would be up in arms if they felt anybody could access their personnel record, because there's information in there that isn't really anybody else's business. Or there could be. I'm not saying there is, there could be.
Well, that's why we go through this thing like we do.
Exactly.
And we send it over to you, so have you guys scrutinize it, and then we'll scrutinize it, and we'll get something that we can look at. So this will be ongoing. Probably put it on for further discussion in 2 weeks. If we can get this all worked out satisfactorily, and then we can put it on to be approved. So
Our
because
board does meet next week, so we will put that on the agenda
perfect.
for our board meeting next week for them to start reviewing and provide them with information to intelligently do so.
Right. Okay. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I believe on what your term is here today, but a good big shout out to Betty Kimball. She's the interim director of she's Bob, and we appreciate you, Steph.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess that's all you got. That's all we got. So thank you very much. All right. Okay, item number 6, 9/11 commemoration, Mark Milburn and David Russo, please.
Yeah, I put this together a couple weeks ago, and I'll read it to the board real quick. Plans are underway to honor, remember, and commemorate the 21st year, 11, 2001. hosted by County Commissioners David Russo and Mark Goburn, with welcoming comments by Board of Commissioners. The dignified and solemn ceremony will be held at Roscommon County on next to 1913 Canton, Saturday, September 11, 2021 at 8:46 a.m. Program will include keynote speaker PJ Stevens, representatives from local veterans organization, Roscommon County Fire Departments, 911, Police, EMS, Prime Ministers and dignitaries, and local Masonic bagpiper Louis Areola. Additionally, an American flag that flew on the 10th anniversary of September 11th in Iraq, which is, quote, flown in honor of those who perished on land. The public is cordially invited to attend. For more information, contact myself. Together a draft by Dave, and what it was basically just says the same thing. Give it to Phil. Hopefully, he can put together a nice program like he's done before. It'll be welcomed by myself, pledge of allegiance, raise an American flag, by Robert Schneider, Board, Judy Valentino, Roscommon County Board, Ken, Vice Chairman, Roscommon County Board. Location by Pastor Kevin Harbin, Pastor of Holy Church. Guest speaker will be PJ Stevie. Conductor of the Remembrance Ceremony will David Russo. We're going to rely on David's expertise to work with the police department, the fire. Louis Areola will do Amazing Grace. Benediction will be the closing remarks will be just based. All I have, Mr. Chair.
And you mentioned Roscommon Fire Department. There'll be several agencies, fire departments too, in the community.
Yeah. The reason why I started in 846 is we all remember touch base with Eric Hand right around 20 years ago to maybe be, back to this. It doesn't have to be necessarily 11, but somewhere around July, August. Somebody that's about 20 years old. But it should be a very impactful ceremony, dignified, solemn. But I'll get all this, I'll make copies and give it to all the commissioners and we can look at it and find it. And what we did, I did talk to the Sheriff's Department. What we'll do is, since it's on a Saturday, 8:46 a.m., we'll ask the sheriff cordon off if somebody needs to go to the restroom, they can interfere with the good office. So for security. But it should come together pretty well. We have all the entities in place, and this is the third or fourth time we've done something similar to this in the last thing.
Okay, all right.
And I do have the flag. This flag was flown, like I mentioned, 10 years ago. Flown in Afghanistan. We'll have the honor of Mr. Chairman, Judy, and Mr. Melvin to fly.
Okay. David, anything to add to that?
Pretty much covered it, but.
Okay. All right, good. Thank you. All right, guess what? We're right on time. We can be back here 10 o'clock, start the next meeting. Thank you. The Board of Commissioners regular meeting, agenda August 11th, 2021, 10 o'clock a.m. hybrid meeting accessible in person or via Zoom. Item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Melvin, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call of board members, please.
Melvin.
Here.
Snyder.
Here.
Dollar.
Here.
Milburn.
Here.
Russo.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Item number 4, approval of the agenda, please.
Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Milburn, seconded by Commissioner Russo to approve the agenda. Any further discussion from any commissioner at this time? Hearing and seeing none. Roll call.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Melvin.
Yes.
Snyder.
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Milburn.
Yes.
Carried.
Okay. Item number 5, approval of the minutes for meetings, regular meeting 7/14/2021 and 7/28/2021.
So.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Russo, seconded by Commissioner Muckenthaler to approve the minutes for the meetings of regular of 7/14 and 2021 and 7/28/2021. Any further discussion in regards to minutes? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Milburn,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Snyder,
Yes.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Okay, claims and accounts, please.
move to approve Class A bills in the amount of $671,666.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Melvin, seconded by Commissioner Muckenthaler to approve Class A's in an amount of $671,666 even. Any further discussion from any commissioner at this time? Hearing and seeing none, roll call.
Russo,
Yes.
Snyder,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, claims and accounts, please.
Move to approve claims and accounts in the amount of $164,236.84.
So move. Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Russo, seconded by Commissioner Muckenthaler to approve claims and accounts in an amount of $164,236.84. Any further discussion by any commissioner at this time? Hearing and seeing none, roll call.
Melvin,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Snyder,
Yes.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Item number 7, public comment, please. Yes, sir, Eric. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioner. Looking at the agenda for today, I see that you're going to be voting on permanently changing the first public comments portion of your meetings, essentially eliminating the ability of the public to comment during that portion of the meeting. I'm assuming that you've counted the votes and it's going to pass, otherwise it wouldn't be up for a vote. I'm deeply disappointed that this is even being considered, but I'm not surprised. This board is not very well known for having the courage to listen to the public and follow the law. I represent over 600 local taxpayers who have petitioned you in the past to regulate Higgins according to the statutes, and you've ignored us. I received over $30,000 to take this matter to court, and fight will continue until this is resolved one way or the other. I expect more dollars will follow when the current lawsuit is returned to our court local here, where the trial will be heard by a jury. You can silence us, but that's not going to happen. The very least you should do is have a special meeting to get feedback from the public regarding changing public comments during the first session. What you are doing could be called soft censorship, but it is censorship nonetheless. As you know, it's been a long-standing agenda item in our county to be able to speak openly in 2 public comments portions of the twice monthly meetings. It is the only time constituents have a time to provide feedback, positive or negative, on what you do or don't do. Without open and candid comment or feedback, our government and this commission makes decisions blindly. Limiting public comment is not good for transparency. It sure looks that since we started this exercise on open comments is part of this agenda, as it has been lately, you don't like it and you want to reduce it. In one of my comments to you a while back, I mentioned that the 1964 U.S. Supreme Court landmark case, New York Times versus Sullivan, involved free speech protections in the First Amendment. In that opinion, Justice William Brennan Jr. said that public discussion is a political duty, and this should be a fundamental principle of the American government. Such discussion must be uninhibited, robust, and wide open, and may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on government and public officials. Reducing the ability of your constituents to address this commission is not conducive for good government, and it's un-American. Free speech is traditional here in America, but apparently not here in Roscommon. Here in Roscommon, you want to reduce that. Everyone here knows why you're trying to limit the public comment. Over the last few meetings, I've given all of you, especially Commissioner Snyder and Controller Valentino, a very hard time, deservingly so, for several reasons. You may not like my comments, but it's un-American for you to restrict them. If not for my recent comments, everyone here knows you wouldn't even be considering these freedom of speech changes. Imposing a permanent change for some temporary relief for you will not work out well for this commission or future commissions. If you don't want this change because there's too much commentary and it takes up too much time, the excuses though you commissioners stated in the work sessions a couple of weeks ago for making the changes are just that, excuses. There's no reason to change the public comments portions of the current agenda for any reason except to grant yourselves some temporary relief from criticism. Commissioner Milburn was right 2 weeks ago when he said, public comment is a fundamental and key ingredient for open and transparent government. Public comment offers the possibility of intelligent, diverse, and thoughtful enlargement from the public to the county board that should be thoughtfully listened to and valued. I couldn't agree more. If this board were receiving accolades from everyone that appeared before them, changing the current public comments portion of your meetings wouldn't even be under consideration, and you probably would expand it. In fact, I doubt you would ever try to cut anyone off at the 5-minute mark for praising what a great job you were doing if their time ran out. By the way, not doing so would also be against the OMA. In other words, allowing anyone to speak past their 5 minutes if they were speaking in support of what you do would also be a violation. There are many cases where the courts have ruled in that regard. Additionally, what is this change showing the Roscommon community? Is it a courageous thing to do, or is it a cowardly thing to do? What do you commissioners really fear by hearing more from us? Why are they trying to limit our feedback and comment? Is this something you can do? Absolutely. Is it something you should do? That's a different question. I would think long and hard about the long-term ramifications of reducing public comment, but it looks like you've already made that decision. Voting for this change is a cowardly act, and I hope you're all proud of yourselves.
Thank you for your comments. Any other public comment at this time, please? Yes, sir. Not yet. Yeah, push it. There you go.
It's green. Okay. I'm Mike with M33 Access. I just wanted to introduce myself as just being a person for you guys to go to in reference to any other questions you may have. I do talk with Tim. We are conversing about some different things on how to help the county and how to better do the infrastructure, and we'll team up together and figure some things out of what we can do to make sure that things are taken care of. I live in the local region. I live over in Mayo. I've been to the VA office here in this building several times. I am a veteran, so I understand a lot of the community in the area. I have friends that live here in Roscommon as well. So I am concerned about making sure things are taken care of right and done right, because this is my local community. And so we want to make sure, again, I'm teaming up with Tim to see if we can make sure that things are done right and accordingly. And I know he wants to team up with us as well. We do have fiber optic over at the Kirtland campus, things like that. We also have a backup here on this building for the 911, which we've had here for years. So there is a lot of stuff that we can make sure and keep that structure going, keep it doing the right ways. And I'm just making sure you guys have my information and that I'm available for you guys if you need help or have questions. If you're not able to get a hold of Tim or you need further information, that's what I'm for. Okay, I want to make sure you guys have all available avenues to make sure you get the right information and to make the right decisions for what you're going to do. Because it's definitely a task that you guys have in front of you, especially timely ones and grants, things like that. Those are big deals, and we want to make sure that the money gets used the right way and gets pushed into the right areas. Again, I'm willing to team up with you guys. I've been working with Ogama, Oscoda to do the same thing in those areas and to help the townships individually. I go to township meetings, board of commission meetings. I go to a lot of different meetings to help people understand what to do, how to do it, and to make sure that some of the areas not to rush. You know, some of the spending, I'm telling some of the townships just to hold off. Wait, let's get some more information. Let's make sure it's done right. I don't need townships running into things and going, oops, now we got to pay that back. That's not what we need for our local area. I want to make sure it's done right and make sure it's done across the board so that way our people are taken care of. I have 7 kids. I'm invested in this communities, I want to make sure things are done right. So again, I'm Mike Benefiel with M33 Access. I'm here for your help. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for introducing yourself. Any other public comment at this time? Okay, item number 8, please. Administrator Controller Report.
Well, good morning. I was going to tell you there were minimal changes in our current lawsuits. However, Treasurer Reagan just informed us that the Choice Plus versus the Roscommon County Treasurer's Office was dismissed. So there's that update. Additionally, the Eric Ostergen versus Robert Schneider and Roscommon County Board of Commissioner has been approved through MMRMA and has been assigned to Matt Zaleski as our attorney representative. Obviously, that is the attorney in the Chill versus Roscommon County case as well. So we did receive that information at the end of last week. Pretty quick week. We did have a meeting with Advantage Benefits, our third-party administrator, in regards to current trends for healthcare and the individual trends for Roscommon County. Our usage is up. Some of our big ticket items are up, which means that as you roll into requests for premiums, those will also go up. So just keep that in mind. In the next month, we will have those numbers as we start the budgeting process. I did finalize some communication with MMRMA in regards to the damage at Houghton Lake for the lake level control structure. It is not able to be covered as it is considered to be normal wear and tear, which is exempt. So that portion of it will be ours, but we tried. Fun news, I think that Commissioner Milburn will appreciate this based on some of the concerns he had from citizens last year. Our large vehicle magnets for gypsy moth have come in. So we will have the magnetized signs along with the stickers in the window announcing that they are there for gypsy moth and a number to call. We have enough for 6 vehicles at a time, which is traditionally what is out and on the road. We're able to utilize a local vendor, great turnaround, great product. So that'll be interesting. And honestly, our gypsy moth department is super excited about having that official ability. So we are in the process of conducting interviews. I know that Commissioner Muckenthaler has sat in on 1 or 2 at this point. 1. It sounds like as of now, everybody that worked last year is returning with the exception of Brittany, who ended up being hired as our GIS specialist. We also have the additional candidate plus 1 other that is going through the vetting process at this point. So they will work sun up till sundown as the weather permits to do those accurate counts based on the state programming that has always been followed. We have formally entered into a contract with Preen and Newhoff in regards to completing the process and documentation in order to obtain the land release of the 40 acres for the Roscommon County Blodgett Memorial Airport, and then to facilitate that land swap. So the state purchase swaps, and then finalizing the land swap with the private landowner as well. So they will be overseeing that for us to make sure that everything goes as it needs to go to have that airspace opened correctly. We do have a first draft almost completed for the Houghton Lake lake level control structures. I know that Commissioner Russo and myself received some requests for some feedback from the engineers via our Director of Maintenance and Facilities, and we're able to provide that. They had a couple good ideas utilizing our same existing structure, shoring that back up, and potentially leaving an opening that would allow for easy canoe portage, which would be a great thing to see. We have had lots of interest, and there is now a new canoe race that's going down that path every year that will bring businesses in. So that's a really great thing to see. So as soon as that's ready, we will have them come and present to the board. Our solid waste planning amended plan was in for review at the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan kicked it back and said there were 2 very specific items that they had wanted to see. One was an official motion by the Solid Waste Planning Committee to enter into the 90-day public comment period. The second was a motion approving it and pushing it to the Board of Commissioners. While these things were discussed, I do not believe that they were formally voted on, and therefore we need to do that process all over again. Vicky, that we had been working with, was looking to see if the generalized discussion concerned. My personal opinion is we have the Solid Waste Planning Commission simply do a formal motion, put it in for a 90-day review period, and then motion to come back to the board. Then you'd approve it again, then I box everything up, and we send it back to the state at that point in time. I don't think there's a lot of wiggle room when it comes to this type of thing, and if they told us the boxes need to be checked, then we should check the boxes. The Wage and Compensation Committee is gathering data on wages from the comparable counties that we have traditionally used, and then we'll use that information to make recommendations as far as budgeting per the policies. The planning for budget 2022 has begun. It is the beginning of August, so within the next month, we will see those sheets coming out, and I will have a calendar of dates for you at the end of August. I did get to attend a meeting on behalf of our funding unit, that is us, for the courts, to evaluate court practices during pandemic and potential permanent changes. Danielle was here and now she's gone. Essentially, the state court administrative offices is looking at making the Zoom and potentially the publications on YouTube a permanent change. While there definitely is some benefit to this, you are not equitable in your abilities to do this across the state of Michigan. We're sitting here discussing broadband and lack of broadband access. So what happens when the state court administration puts that into play, and it's very easily able to be done in, say, Midland County, but in Roscommon County, where less than half have good broadband, you can't Zoom it or you can't broadband. What happens then if it's a steadfast rule? Additionally, you have the issues that I don't know how many people in here had students that had to do online classes this year. The people walking by in their underwear or eating while they're testifying in front of the courts, not knowing who is off camera, potentially influencing who the judge cannot see as far as testimony. So there's some other issues that would need to be addressed and reviewed for that. Our courts are not for the mandate of it, specifically when it comes to the actual trial portion. They continuously have used and will continue to use the pretrial, I think has worked very well. But I know, and I think Dawn can attest to some of this, putting youth on YouTube who are testifying to an abuser, there are some times where that is not the best idea that you could have out there. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. Some of the comments and commitments that I have provided on behalf of the funding unit are currently during the earlier stages. You have the court reporter who is both operating Zoom and who is trying to do court reporting at the same time. If you push that into a trial, you are now going to need a full-time person in the courts just to operate the Zooms. So there's additional, $60,000 to $90,000 in salary benefit packages for those types of things. Your other issue comes from trying to coordinate within the jails and your jail staff of having those trials, multiple trials. So you'd be looking at potentially needing to add staff next door for safety and security as far as those types of things. It'll be what it will be, but all of the courts will weigh in. It sounds like rural Michigan in general, the broadband is the largest issue as far as making this a mandate versus a strong suggestion of usage. So finally, I did get to meet our new Sting Lieutenant, and we are working to clarify the expenditures and grants. Through the last 20 years, it has gotten quite convoluted. There used to be a Burns JAG grant that funded almost the entirety of a position, and then Roscommon County gave a lump sum of money. Then it went to Roscommon County gave a lump sum of money and a person, and Sting started giving us money back. It's not clear. It is something that we are working with the auditor to solidify, but it looks like what we're going to end up with is something pretty simple, which looks like this. Sting will apply for a burn JAG grant for an individual on behalf of Roscommon County. That grant that used to be a $70,000 grant is now about a $12,000 grant. The County of Roscommon will commit annually through the budget year to fully fund a sheriff's officer for that position. And in return, the burn JAG grant money would help offset that count to Roscommon County. We put it into a new format to be approved by the Board of Commissioners and the Sting Board, and put it in a nice, clear writing so that everybody can understand what happens. That's it.
Okay, any commissioners have any questions for Jody at this time? Got a lot going on, Jody. All right. Item number 9, under correspondence, Muskegon County resolution in regards to building a casino in Muskegon. Item B, Crawford Roscommon Conservation District, the fall tree orders are available. Item C is the National Association of Counties, or NACO, coronavirus pandemic resources for counties. Item E is an American Cross, there's a need for volunteers. Item F is rethinking homelessness, there's a webinar. Item G is the Solid Waste Recycling Committee Household Hazardous Waste Collection, which is coming up. When is that, Tim? September? September 11th, same day. Okay, it's Mark and David's thing. Okay. G is, or excuse me, H is Michigan Association of Counties legislative update from 7/30/21. Did I miss D? Okay, Michigan Association of Counties was on 7/23, so each week. I is James Ringwald's Safe Cities policies, and item J is VA disability fiscal year 2019 compensation recipients by the county. So that's a list in there. Anything else to add on that, Ken?
So it identifies the veterans that are receiving a disability compensation in the county.
In Roscommon County?
Roscommon County.
Okay. All right. Any commissioners have any questions and concerns regarding correspondence at this time? Okay, item number 10, monthly department reports. We've got the Sheriff's Department report for July of 2021, Village Patrol July 2021 activity, and the Village Patrol July 21 additional activity. Anything in regards to monthly department reports from any commissioner? Okay, item 11, any visitors that'd like to be noticed, come forward at this time, be recognized. Okay, item number 12, unfinished new business, American Rescue Plan. Guess that's me. We had a second steering committee meeting last week on Thursday the 5th. We're in a process of identifying different needs from different places in the county right now. One of them being referred to, which was the broadband for a matching grant of one. If we're successful, that would be a match for the county of $1.2 million. We did have a couple of presentations. We're getting information back. We have another meeting today at 1 o'clock, and we'll try to finalize some things, and we have to have something in by the 31st of August, correct, Jody? And we will keep working on that. Is that something that will have to be whatever that steering committee comes up with, does that have to be okayed by the commissioners?
So the initial report that goes in on is due by August 31st to the federal government is the general categories of expenditures, i.e. we'd be looking at X amount for broadband, X amount for social, economical, X amount for housing and food. Should it be approved by the Board of Commissioners? Yes, I think everything that has to do with this grant should be approved by the Board of Commissioners. So they would need to have that information to be presented at the next meeting and then voted on at the next meeting.
Correct. So we have a steering committee meeting today. We have another one next Wednesday. And then we have another one on the 25th. We're just thinking may need an extra time. We may need to call a special meeting on the 26th or the 27th. Okay, that potentially.
I have a general process from the meeting, from your meeting last time. I am serving as secretary. I do not have a vote on any of the information. I am simply there to take notes and guard dog to make sure that we are following the laws and the rules that are associated with it. However, that most of the general categories and the amounts of monies that would be considered for allocated, I think you guys will be there in the next 2 meetings. My guess is the one that Michelle's going to cover for me, because I am otherwise engaged, would probably be the meeting where you'd be able to have that and then turn that information over for the Board of Commissioners to discuss and then vote on the 25th.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just saying that, if we have to, we can do that. So to get it in by the 31st. So whatever we have to do to do it. Okay. Anything else have anything to add as far as American Rescue Plan?
Yeah, I like what you just thought of, Mr. Chair. I think we should, they want to just focus on just that issue. So they want to consider having that option to be able to have a special meeting. That could be a pretty lengthy process. We don't want to muddy up our regular meeting with ARP. That's just, that would be obviously your decision to make, Mr.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Any other new unfinished or new business, please? Okay. Item number 13, motions and resolutions. Michelle, you are up, please.
Ready? Move to adopt the Child Care Fund 2021-2022 budget adoption resolution. Whereas the Roscommon County 34th Circuit Court Family Division has prepared the 2021-2022 State Child Care Fund Annual Plan and Budget, excuse me, and whereas programming has been classified as, but not limited to, family foster care, institutional care, in-home care, and foster care during the period of appeal after parental release, and whereas as in the anticipated net expenditures are $1,339,323.88, of which eligible expenditures will be reimbursed by the state at 50%. And whereas these expenditures will return projected state reimbursement revenue of $649,661.94. And whereas to receive state funding, all expenditures for programs are required to be included in the state child care fund budget. And whereas expenditures are aligned with the Roscommon County's 2021 adopted budget and the 2022 budget currently under development. And whereas to receive reimbursement for expenditures, the state child care fund budget requires the authorizing signatures of the Chief Judge of the Family Division, the Director of the Department of Health and Human Services, and the Chair of the Board of Commissioners. And whereas this matter has been reviewed by the County Administrator Controller's Office and the Roscommon County Board of Commissioners. Now therefore be it resolved that the Roscommon County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the submission of the 2021-2022 State Child Care Fund Budget Summary to the State of Michigan, Department of Health and Human Services, Office of Federal Compliance, Child Care Fund Monitoring Unit, for total estimated expenditures of $1,339,323.88 for the period of October 1, 2021 to September 30, 2022. Be it further resolved that the Board of Commissioners takes the following actions contingent upon receipt of the grant award in conformity with the grant application. 1, authorizing the Administrator Controller to sign the Notice of Grant Award. 2, amending the budget as attached hereto and made a part hereof as part of the DHHS Form 2091. 3, authorizing the Administrator Controller to sign the delegate contracts in conformity with the application.
Motion. I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Melvin, seconded by Commissioner Muckenthaler to adopt the Child Care Fund 2021-2022 budget adoption resolution. Any further discussion from any commissioners at this time? Dawn's here. She's been bird dogging this thing from the start, and she'll continue to do the good job that you're doing. Thank you very much. Okay, so with that, hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Milburn,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Dollar,
Yes.
Melvin.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
Item 2, motion 2, I should say.
Move to authorize the application for the NTIA broadband federal grant.
Move.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Russo, seconded by Commissioner Milburn to authorize the application for the NTIA broadband federal grant. Any further discussion from any commissioner? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Melvin,
Yes.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion number 3, please.
Move to adopt the drug and alcohol-free workplace policy.
Make that motion. I'll second that.
Motion made by Commissioner Muckenthaler, seconded by Commissioner Russo to adopt the drug and alcohol-free workplace policy. Any further discussion, please, by Commissioner? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Melvin,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Policy adopted.
Motion number 4, please.
Move to approve the amendment to the Board of Commissioners 2021 meeting rules from 5.3 order of business. The agenda shall be arranged in the following order: 1, call to order; 2, pledge of allegiance; 3, roll call; 4, approval of the agenda; 5, approval of minutes; 6, public comment, limit to 5 minutes per person; 7, Class A claims and accounts; 8, controllers report; 9, treasurer's report; 10, correspondence; 11, monthly department reports; 12, visitors; 13, unfinished business, new business; 14, motions, resolutions; 15, committee reports; 16, public comment, limit to 5 minutes per person; 17, adjournment; 2, 5.3 order of business; 1, call to order; 2, pledge of allegiance; 3, roll call; 4, approval of agenda; 5, approval of minutes; 6, public comment, agenda items only, limit to 5 minutes per person; 7, Class A claims and accounts, first meeting of each month; 8, controllers report; 9, treasurer's report, quarterly as needed; 10, correspondence; 11, monthly department reports; 12, visitors; 13, unfinished business, new business; 14, motions, resolutions; 15, committee reports; 16, public comment, limit to 5 minutes per person; 17, adjournment. And from 5.4, public comment. During public comment, an opportunity shall be afforded to any member of the general public in attendance to deliver her comments to the Board of Commissioners. These comments will be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes unless extended by the chairperson. Comments should be made directly to the board. Discussions within the audience during the public comment section of the agenda are expressly forbidden unless solicited by the chairperson. 2, 5.4, public comment. During public comment, an opportunity shall be afforded to any member of the general public in attendance to deliver her comments to the Board of Commissioners. These comments will be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes unless extended by the chairperson. Comments should be made directly to the board. Discussions within the audience during the public comment section of the agenda are expressly forbidden unless solicited by the chairperson. Public comment offered prior to unfinished business, new business shall be limited to agenda items only. General public comment will be heard at the conclusion of board business.
I'll second that.
Motion is made by Commissioner Melvin, seconded by Commissioner Russo to amend the Board of Commissioners meeting rules in regards to order of business. Any further discussion from any commissioner at this time, please? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Milburn,
No.
Schneider,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Melvin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Committee reports, item number 14, please. All right, go ahead.
After the meeting last week, or 2 weeks ago, excuse me, I went around to a couple of different job sites with the Housing Commission, with the church group from Illinois. And, they've been here like every other year or every few years, and they do a lot of good for the community. The homeowners were very happy, the youth, good set of kids. Also, I attended claims and accounts. Thank you.
Okay,
Commissioner Muckenthaler here. I just had claims and accounts.
okay. Mr. Melvin?
Okay, let's see. First thing, I attended a meeting here in this room on Tuesday, the 3rd. With, I think it was mostly Senator Vanderwall was here to listen to comments from people about the
sewer.
Well, yeah, there you go.
The meeting on August 3rd about the sewer authority. Senator Vanderwall was here to hear comments. I learned at this meeting that approximately 1 million gallons a day are going to be pumped out of the Higgins Lake watershed. And the location of the treatment area has been changed from close to my house to an area between Old 27 and 127. And on Thursday, we had the coffee hour. Mark was there. Wasn't that wonderful to have those veterans get together? They were really ready to go. That was really nice.
We had more donuts than people. I was very happy about it.
And then we had the Veterans Affairs Committee meeting. We assisted with 11 burials. We assisted with 21 medical appointment trips. And we helped one veteran with $125 for food assistance. And I'm sorry to report to this board that of those 11 burial assistance, one cause of death was self-inflicted gunshot wound. So sadly, we still have more work to do in this area. And you can trust that I will be making sure that we're doing everything we can with our Veterans Office to try and prevent anything like this in the future. And then Bob and I attended a Natural Rivers zoning variance application meeting at Higgins Township also on Thursday evening. And that situation seemed to have been resolved to the satisfaction of the property owner applying for the variance. And also the Higgins Lake level after the most recent rain is like this far from summer level. And with anticipated rain tonight, I would expect that, I don't want to go out on a limb here and be stupid and make some kind of prediction that can't come true, but more than likely with the expected rainfall tonight, it will reach summer level. Contrary to the big lie that's being perpetrated around Higgins Lake. Thank you.
Mr. Milburn?
Yeah, Ken, thanks for the work you're doing on behalf of the veterans. Good deal. The coffee hour was really well attended. My friend Richard Stevenson bought the donuts, so I didn't tell him I was going to say that, but I do appreciate his.
That's because you want more. That's because you want more donuts.
Donuts. So might I but not much going on as far as our area. We do have historical days going on at the. Help me out here. The Historical Society. Movie in the Park at Roscommon, and we have a wrestling event at the event center on Saturday. All I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. I attended and Ken, you were at the agenda meeting on Thursday the 5th. We had the agenda meeting, steering committee meeting at 1:00 p.m. We met right in this room, and it was participated by all 7 people. And then Ken alluded to the AuSable River Zoning Board meeting that we had at 6:30 at Higgins Township on that night. So that's my report at this time. So anybody else have any committee reports they'd like to add that they missed? Okay, item 15, public comment, please.
In the last meeting, I left off talking about my email communications between myself and Controller Valentino regarding my FOIA request on March 27th, 2019, and I have a lot more to discuss. If at any time anyone wishes to talk to me off the record about this issue, not the other litigation, I'd be happy to do that. These communications prove that the comments made by Chairman Schneider and Controller Valentino were untruthful when on March 13th, 2019, Chairman Schneider said, other counties have done this. And then the Controller Valentino stated, lots of other counties have done this. And I actually have. How many times are you going to repeat that? I want my time back on this. He has no right to interrupt me. Thank you, Chairman.
Continue.
I'm going to repeat it until you gets through your head.
Eric?
Yes.
Continue, please.
Thank you. Lots of other counties have done this. And then Controller Valentino said, lots of other counties have done this. And I actually have a couple of variations that they have done regarding the resolution this county passed 2 weeks later. 2 days after that resolution was passed on March 29th at 1:03 a.m., I sent the prosecutor in Oakland County a FOIA request asking them for anything of the kind. We all know what they said. No such document existed. A few minutes later, I sent Controller Valentino a copy of that FOIA request and said, Jody, how much do you want to bet that no such document exists? That same day at 8:55 a.m., Controller Valentino sent me the following in response to that email, and she said, a petition signed by 2/3 of the lakefront property owners, land actually abutting the lake, not Batlock owners, must be submitted to the County Board of Commissioners. The board will initiate action to determine the normal level of the lake. Usually this action is in the preparation of a preliminary feasibility study by a licensed professional engineer. The board may require cash payment from the petitioners to cover the cost or study of $10,000, whichever is less. This is off the Water Resource Commission website. You might direct your FOIA to him. Half an hour later at 9:27 a.m., I responded to Controller Valentino saying the following. Jody, I've known about these statutes you quoted below for many years. Again, you are conflating, establishing, or changing the legal levels on a lake with maintaining an existing court-ordered legal level. Establishing / changing and maintaining / enforcing are two different things. A first-year law student or anyone with some common sense would know the difference. No matter how much you and the commissioners don't want to deal with this issue, you can't wish it away because you think the statutes back you up. They don't. Don't you think that I would check it out? How stupid do you think I am? You don't have to believe me. We will prove this to you pretty soon. I think you need some legal education. What's worse is our customers should know better. If Mary Beebe really told you that you could draw your motion up the way you did, you should sue her for legal malpractice. I doubt that she provided you any of that advice in writing. However, I hope you did get it in writing, as you will need it for a way to cover your tails. Since her advice falls under attorney-client privilege, I can't FOIA that, but it doesn't matter. And since you have misled the commissioners and the citizens of Roscommon, the commissioners will end up disgraced. I tried to tell you that you should have obtained another legal opinion. Additionally, you and the commissioners stood right in front of us and told us a bold-faced lie. You said Oakland County has documentation that does exactly what your motion says, and you could not produce that document for me. You directed me to a document that tells you how to establish a legal level, just like the quote below. The document you directed me to was not what Oakland County does. It is a standard how-to document on establishing / changing a legal level. You said Mary Beebe used to live in Oakland County, and that makes her an expert on lakes. Who are you trying to fool? Higgins Lake already has an established legal level. We do not want to establish or change a legal level. We want the commissioners to do their job and enforce the legal level. Enough said. Good luck as we move forward, Eric. Then, on April 11th, 2019 at 12:54, in order to give Controller Valentino another opportunity to provide what she said she had, I sent another FOIA request to her stating the following. In the commissioners meeting held on March 13th at 1:20 in the meeting, you stated lots of other counties have done this, and I actually have a couple of variations that they have done. In the FOIA request I sent you on March 27th, you gave me several documents and responded to my FOIA request, but have nothing regarding the documents you have from lots of other counties you use to help make up the resolution. I'm sure you may have overlooked these documents. Please provide and send all correspondence you described about lots of other counties. The next day, April 12, 2019, Jody Valentino responded, copying Commissioner Snyder, and stated the following: I regret to inform you there are no such records responsive to your request as outlined above, as all research was conducted online. There you go. No such records exist, no variations, no documents. Lots of other counties have nothing. It was all made up. It was a lie. And what is this commission going to do about it? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Any other public comments at this time, please? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, Michelle.
I would just like to share with the commissioners that today is a very special day for our centers. They are reopening on a limited basis. We are taking precautionary measures. We are only serving lunch for the month of August because of all the things going on with the virus, and just taking the precautions. Our staff is taking precautions, as well as we're encouraging the seniors as they come into our buildings to take precautions as well. But our centers will be open from 11 to 2, Monday through Friday for lunch. They'll give them time to be able to socialize with each other and enjoy their lunch. And then hopefully, if nothing happens with the virus, we will be back to a normal schedule in September. That is the plan.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle, you had your hand up.
I just wanted to let you know that we did have an election on August 3rd. You know, most people don't really know or pay attention, I guess. But anyway, so it was just for Roscommon and Esther Township, and it went very well. And I'm very happy about it because those were two brand new clerks that had to be taught a lot and learn a lot over the last several months. And so it went well.
Good. Right. Any other public comment? And I'm looking out there in Zoom land because I have a bad habit of not looking out there, but everybody get a chance here? Okay, item number 16.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.